And hello students, welcome back to Scholar IAS current affair classes. Let's see what are the important articles of the day. Okay, the first article is on 15th Finance Commission. What has actually happened is that this 15th Finance Commission has submitted its report. Okay, and this report is valid for 2021 to 2026. And they have submitted to whom? It has been submitted to President. This is important for your prelims. You should be expecting this point, okay, in prelims. And it's very easy because it's a factual thing and static part. So this article, in this report, basically the commission has given certain key recommendations, and these are very factual in nature, students. So that we are going to look at the details that are very important in this session, and for the rest of the factual aspect you can refer our website and have a deeper understanding of what the minor aspects of recommendations has been. So the first aspect is the vertical devolution. So when we say devolution, it is about we are talking about the financial devolution, and when we say vertical devolution, it is about how much is getting transferred from the union to the states. So that is what vertical devolution is about. And this 15th Finance Commission actually has recommended vertical devolution at 41%. This is very important because the previous Finance Commission recommended 42%, and this has basically reduced it by 1%. Okay, and so what happens now? This commission is saying that union has to give away whatever its revenue has been. In this revenue, it has to devolve 41% of its revenue to the states. And this, even this 1% that has been reduced, actually is being adjusted for this 1% is been adjusted to this J&K and that has been actually formed into new territory, union territory. So basically what it is trying to say is the 1%, the one state that already it was existing, now it is not existing. So that's why a 1% reduction has happened in the total vertical devolution, and that 1% would be adjusted to the UT. So basically the center will have to give away 42%, but only 41 would go directly to the states, and 1%, the additional 1% would be going to the union territories. And the center share funds with states in two categories basically. One is tax devolution. That is what this 41% would stand there. And the next one is grants and aids. So this doesn't. So this is based. This is basically done by the center on its own criteria, based on the situation of each state. So this grants in states, there are certain criteria also that has been recommended by 15th Finance Commission for this grants and aid as well. So including both these categories, the aggregate transfer to states. So both these put together, this 41% of tax devolution as well as grants and aids to states, these both put together, it is about 50.9% of devolution that would happen from center to the states. So of this devolution, this total devolution of tax as well as the grants put together, it is about 34% of the revenue receipts of union basically. So what happens, the deficit is going to increase for the union because they will have to take from borrow funds, or else they will have to take the funds from other resources. So this basically 34% is only about revenue receipts. So there is also capital receipts. We do not know exactly how much percentage would be going from that, or will there be any other borrowings that would happen that union would take care to devolve the funds. So far we have seen only the vertical devolution. Now we have to see the horizontal devolution, and this horizontal devolution we are going to focus only on tax devolution because that's where more focus needs to be given, because there are certain set criteria that has been prescribed by this Finance Commission. And what are this? Before we go into the criteria, let's try to understand what horizontal devolution is. Horizontal devolution is nothing but that the funds, the 41% of funds, how we are going to basically distribute across the states, because it cannot be directly, you cannot equally distribute among the states, because the size or the necessity of such money for a particular state would be differing from one state to the other. So the necessity has to be understood. At the same time, certain criteria has to be fixed so that the funds are utilized properly. So that the criteria prescribed by 15th Finance Commission are: first one is population, and for this the weightage that has been given is 15%. And the next one is area, and the next one is forest ecology, and then we have income distance, and then we have tax and fiscal effects, and finally you have demographic performance. Okay, students, these criteria is very important because they might give you a question asking you to select which of the following criteria are used by 15th Finance Commission, and that too just because it is released now, there is high chances that the question on this can be asked in your prelims exam. So make sure that you remember all of these points and remember which criteria has the most weightage. So we can see income distance has the most weightage. You do not have to remember all the percentages, but you should remember which one is having the highest and which one is having the lowest. The lowest is tax and fiscal effects. It has the lowest weightage of 2.5%. And here the population that is being taken into consideration is based on census 2011, because previously even the old census of 1971 was used, but now they are using the census 2011. This is, if you remember, this is where the contention was also for South Indian states, because 2011 based on 2011 census, the population is less in case of South Indian states, so the devolution would also be affected because of that. That's why the South Indian states were against it. But in case of North India, states like UP and MP, they would benefit more because of the population itself. Bihar, they would be benefiting more. So this now, despite some concerns from the South Indian states, the census 2011 is being taken into consideration. And also 15th Finance Commission has introduced new demographic performance. So previously this criteria was not there. Now they have included this demographic performance and also tax effect criterion. So if you remember, last 14th Finance Commission did not take this into consideration, and it has been reintroduced by the 15th Finance Commission. So this is about tax distribution that happens in a horizontal fashion, students. So this is all about the 15th Finance Commission. To get more facts regarding this 15th Finance Commission report, please visit our website so that you get a clarity about the whole picture itself. Let's move on to the next article. This is a unique article, empowerment of others. This is unique because we not normally get an article that is more related to GS4 ethics paper, and this has more relevance. And there have been instances where UPSC has directly lifted from the articles, newspaper articles, and they frame a question directly on newspaper articles. And this article is from Hindu, so even now there is a potential. If you remember 2019 essay paper, there was a question that was directly based on a particular article from a newspaper. If I am not wrong, it was from, I believe it was from Indian Express. So same way, this is also a potential question. So Mahatma Gandhi's idea of empowerment is being discussed in this article. So Gandhi's philosophy of empowerment was multidimensional. It was multidimensional because of the fact that irrespective of gender or race or class or creed, it focused on empowerment of everyone. So if you take any other political leader, they would have been trying to empower a particular section of the society or particular issues that they were facing. But Gandhi's empowerment was totally different because it included everyone irrespective of who they are or what they are. And Gandhi also understood democracy as a socio-political institution, because it, as a socio-political institution, the work of this institution would be to empower the others. So that would be the work of such a democracy, and it should also assert the right to speak freely and to act differently. See, India, this is very important because India is a multicultural society, we know, and multilingual as well, and it's too diversified. And so in such diversity, respecting others' right is very important. So that's where Gandhi's political philosophy that around this democracy, and through this democracy empowering them to have these rights, comes into picture. And he also viewed empowerment of others as a right to express a different opinion. So empowerment doesn't, he did not restrict, Gandhiji did not restrict himself to empowerment to just about getting mere basic basic needs or monetary empowerment. He actually thought went more deeper than that by saying that it is the empowerment means right to express a different opinion. So even in today, this Gandhi's philosophy still holds importance, because we can see expression gets affected when an expression is said against, if someone expresses themselves against the government, it is suppressed in certain instances, and also expression is also misused by citizens, either in pointing out the fingers at the government or at pointing at fingers at others because of the social media. So the right to express, empowering through right to express, is very important even today. And Gandhiji also advocated individuals to rule themselves. See, this is where the base of Gandhi's idea itself. This is very important, because Gandhiji did not feel, even in a democracy, he did not think that there should be rulers who should be ruling a class of people. Rather, they felt that each individual should have the capacity, build the capacity to develop, to rule himself or herself. So that was Gandhi's idea of even the institution, political institution itself. But he looked for a creation and cultivation of public culture of citizenship. So that's fair. So what he's basically saying is, a citizen, an individual has to be responsible, and she should realize his responsibility towards the society as well as towards the individual. And while doing so, he would be guaranteed the right to opinion and to action. So basically, this is what give and take kind of policy, that's what Gandhiji is advocating. And the value of empowerment of others needs to be created and cherished. So it should not restrict to yourself. If you are empowered, you should not restrict yourself to that. You should also act in such a way that you are able to or facilitate empowerment of others. Gandhiji's empowerment was also based on certain principles like empathy, affinity, and also harmony. So basically, he is talking about humanity in essence. And in connection to this, he also brings in the ideal of ethics. So for in terms of ethics, Gandhi's view on ethics is that something an individual tries to achieve, or as a citizen tries to enhance his capacity by not getting into a conquest, domination, or violence mode. So basically, ethics is nothing but a non-violent encouragement of awareness. That's what Gandhi's idea of ethics itself. And so this would basically help if a citizen is ethical, if he is trained to be cultivated to be an ethical citizen, then he would naturally have an empathy and affinity that would actually help in empowerment of others. So this is a link that Gandhi views it as. So non-violence is base of any idea that Gandhi promotes, Gandhi visualizes. So the state of awareness called for common horizon of humanity. This awareness is nothing but putting ourselves in the shoes of others to help them and to understand them and to show empathy. That is what this ethics is about. In connection to this ethics and empowerment, he brings out a model of civilization. So see, Gandhiji is logically trying to connect all the aspects around non-violence as well as humanity. So in this, he basically says a civilization, the idea of civilization based on Hind Swaraj, which aims to take humanity to a higher moral level. And this Hind Swaraj model of civilization can be understood based on certain keywords of his ideas. One is trying to make sure that utilitarianism doesn't dominate the humanity. So utilitarianism basically promotes what? Violence and greed, which needs to be suppressed. And also Gandhiji suggests moral interconnectedness and pluralism. See, this is what. So now we are talking about global interconnectedness and economic interconnectedness. But Gandhi also talks about moral interconnectedness. And so when this happens, there also has to be support to pluralism. That's where we also see there are many conflicts around the world just because people couldn't accept this pluralism aspect. And we also need to understand the moral progress of humanity should be given primacy, because unless there is no humanity, the civilization would not develop. That's what Gandhiji believed, and it's also true. Even now, today, it is more relevant. And also, this is the only way, humanity is the only way to have a righteous and compassion for others. So, this would be beyond materialism itself. For such a civilization to take shape, there are two qualities that are needed. So, one is the art of listening. So, this is nothing but an extension of what he said about empowerment. So, in empowerment, he actually mentioned that each one should have the right to express themselves, right to speak, and right to express their opinions. So, when this right can be actually enjoyed when people have the maturity to listen to what the other person is trying to express. So, this is nothing but an extension of freedom of speech. And this is very important in a society which is very diverse in terms of social or political or even religious sense. So this minority, religious minority or political minority, everyone should be listened to so that they also express their rights and they also feel empowered. And the second aspect is shared humanity. So this is very relevant in a globalized world, because not just within India where we have diversity now, it's across the world the diversity is spreading. And in such a world, the shared humanity, this aspect is very important, because having a linear and monolithic discourse is not going to be healthy, and it's not going to advance the civilization, and it is not going to help sustain a diversified world where you find different races, different customs, different religions, even different economic backgrounds. It is not possible to have a linear and monolithic approach. So this is where the shared humanity comes into picture. He also teaches the interconnectedness. Basically, he is talking right now, as I mentioned before, we are not only focused about economic interconnected, rather the moral and dependence in terms of humanity is also there. This interconnectedness has to be promoted, and for this to be promoted, this humanity has to be realized by each individual. Students, this is all about today's class. Hope you liked the class. For more videos, subscribe to our channel and visit our platform scholar.com. Till next class, happy learning. Bye bye.